Hey everyone, today I thought it was finally time to show you how I built the house for my Rags to Riches Let's Play based on the newest expansion pack for The Sims 4. Just as we are getting stuck into the exterior here, I thought I'd tell you about where the inspiration came from for this build. I knew I wanted a building to be fairly large so that I could fit multiple units inside. I also wanted to find something from Southeast Asia, as that's where the new world of Tomarang is based. I found this one and fell in love with the layered looking levels. It means that whilst I intend to have a large garden area for tenants on the ground floor, they can also have their own private, or at least semi-private garden areas connected to their house. I wouldn't call myself a builder in this game, so I take whatever inspiration I can from the internet. And if all else fails, I fall back to the gallery and just rely on the wonderful people in the Sims community who are far more skilled at building than I am. Whilst I'm working on the exterior here, I just want to give an extra hello to the people that haven't been to my channel before. My name's Charlotte and I've only been posting to YouTube for a few weeks. I recorded this build sometime in December and have been putting off posting it until now. For some reason I've just been extra anxious about finishing and posting this video. Right now we're working on the wraparound porch. It's my intention for this to just be my Sim Molly's area so that she has a nice private bit of garden. But there will also be, as I said, a bit on the other side of the house, I think, for the tenants to share. So don't worry, everyone's going to get a nice bit of outdoor space. I decided that the house was a little bit too big, so we're shrinking it down a little bit to make it a bit more manageable. I think otherwise it would have just been far too big. Ordinarily, I prefer to build smaller houses. I usually just build starter homes and tiny homes. Honestly, I love the challenge of building a tiny home, but also once it gets bigger than that, I just end up throwing everything at them to the point where my Sims never need to leave the house for anything because they have everything they need right in the house. A gym, swimming pool, huge garden. Every skill building object known to the game. Could that be because of loading screen avoidance? Which can honestly take minutes on my computer. Or is it just because I'm a homebody in real life, and if I didn't have a job or kids, I'd never leave my house? We'll never know. Anyway, back to the build. Coming to an end of the exterior here, I realised I needed something to sort of add a bit of interest above the windows on the first floor. As I said earlier, this build is to go alongside my Let's Play series, which was inspired by Dr. Gluon's House Flipper series. It's almost like an alternative Rags to Riches, where instead of being put on an empty lot with 0 simoleons, you're placed on a lot with a fully built house, well, almost fully built, but that needs a lot of work. Think the most run-down, filthiest place you can imagine. And instead of getting money to build your house, you get money to spend it on making the house better. To have a Sim be plonked down in a huge house and have to slowly chip away to make it nice, one simoleon at a time, looked like so much fun. I'm only 4 episodes in and I constantly want to go back and play some more. I've got a link to episode 1 in the end cards of this video in case you have a chance to watch it. Please remember it was my first ever video. Honestly, the stairs I think was probably the hardest part of this. Because it's an odd width and I like symmetry, I needed the stairs to be 3 wide. So that meant I couldn't just do a simple set of stairs. The ones from the ground floor to the first floor weren't so bad, but the ones going up to the top floor were really painful. It took me a really long time to figure that out. I think what we ended up with is not ideal, but it's the best configuration I could come up with. Now we're just trying to figure out the layout for the downstairs apartments, and I played around with a few different ideas, including making them a lot smaller and trying to fit in 4 different units in the bottom. But then I realised that they were just going to be far too small. I want each unit to be fully self-contained, because honestly that's the kind of unit I would live in personally, to have my own kitchen and bathroom. So that's what I wanted for my tenants in this apartment. So I ended up making the ones downstairs bigger, but I think it paid off. My plan was always to have Molly, which is my sim, in the right hand side apartment, and then the left hand side, I'm pretty sure we could easily fit 2 bedrooms in there and still have it be a reasonable size. And then once I'd made that decision, the other apartments were sort of easy, to only fit 2 units on each floor. So we're working on apartment 3 and floor here, trying to get a nice layout sorted. And you can more easily see what I mean about each layer having their own private space. I'll figure out the ground floor apartment at some point, so that they have both the shared area and also their own private area. I also really love to do open floors to the stairs, but that I find them really difficult to do in The Sims. I can never quite seem to get the floors to behave how I want them to. It was always so much easier in the older games because the game didn't care whether there was just a random hole in the floor, so you could easily delete the floor 1 tile at a time. Sims 4 isn't quite like that. But I think we got there in the end. Now you can see me working on the stairs to the top floor now. And it was a really painful... I cut out so much footage of me trying to do this, and this is just what I settled for in the end. Just because I wanted it done, honestly. I think it looks alright in the end. And it's symmetrical, which is what matters to me. This was one of my favourite bits, going through the catalogue and looking for all the decorations of grunge and mould and damp. It's so different from how I normally build. Normally, I think, as most people do, but correct me if I'm wrong, that Sims straight away get a wonderfully perfect, pristine place. And it was really fun to intentionally grunge it up. Damage some brickwork and things. I may have gone a bit overboard with it, but it was still fun. And also looking for the grossest wallpapers that I could find and trying to plan them out. Finishing up the outside with some lovely grungy panelling, just to go with the theme, and then adding in even more damage and destruction because it wasn't dirty enough before. Massive crack in the wall. I'll have to fix that. Does anyone else find that when they're placing things like windows, they do the front, quote unquote, the more important part, and then just get bored and give up and do something else, and then realise towards the end that they haven't done it yet? Or is that just me? Hopefully not. I'm really excited to decorate the outdoor areas for each apartment. I think it's going to be quite fun. I'm thinking a little seating area for each unit, and maybe not a barbecue because I don't fancy them catching fire all the time. But you know what I mean, just something nice to have outdoors. I also kind of want to put in a swimming pool on the bottom. I think that would be really fun. But I'm not sure if we've got enough room. We'll have to play it by ear, I think. One of my favourite things about this build was picking through the debug catalogue. Side note, I forgot to get rid of the cheat menu, so that I will notice eventually and get rid of it. Honestly, I don't normally use it very often just because I find the menu very overwhelming because there's so much there and it's nearly impossible to find the one thing that you know is in there that you want to use. It takes a really long time. So I really enjoyed just going line by line and just putting in anything that I thought would add to the effect of the build. I managed to squeeze a lot of trash and garbage in and around the house. I think there's a few bathtubs and a couple of a fridge and an oven, I think, as well. It's just not stuff I normally find opportunity to use. Because like I said, I normally give my Sims nice, polished, pristine homes. Anyway, I think I'm already all talked out. I honestly lasted longer than I thought. Even wrote a script for this, if you can believe that, and it looked so long, but I've blown through it in no time. I'll come back towards the end for the final reveal. So I hope you like my disgusting build. I was honestly quite proud of this when it was finished, which feels weird to admit because if this was your house in real life, you would probably not feel too great about it. If you want to see this build in all its glory, then I encourage you to follow the link at the end of this video to my playlist, to my for rent rags to riches house flipper series. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all stay cozy.